Hello and welcome to the Chatters Invitational 100 game. I am Caster Mighty Benaya, and we have two major players now. There's a couple of things that happened, and we'll go over it real quick, but right now, the two major players in the game are the Lion's Den, the African Coalition, and the Pirates, and most of their competitors have been knocked down to a place where they are taking a significant lead. It is about an hour and a half away from day change for day 22. So let's take a look at what's going on. Here in Asia, something that I noticed, the Asian Coalition is doing well, but something that I noticed is this territory belongs to French Madagascar, which is in the African Coalition, and all of this is Papua New Guinea. So they have worked together to all but eliminate New Zealand, British New Zealand. All of New Zealand's original territory has been taken over by French Madagascar. So French Madagascar now has holdings across Asia, not just in Africa and in Europe. So the alliance in Africa is potent and far-reaching. Now that could come back to bite them if they end up being in a fight with the Asian Coalition, given that the Asian Coalition has troops that are available to attack those territories more quickly, and Africa is a little bit more spread out. But as it stands right now, the African Coalition appears to be working with the Asian Coalition to eliminate threats, which is bad for anyone in Asia that is not already in the Asian Coalition. So this is even more reason to look at what is going on with those two African nations that are not part of the African Alliance, and figure out what's going on with them. So let's just really quickly review what's going on in Asia. Hong Xian has eliminated at least one AI up here, and is working with, here we go, in addition to Scripx. This province has been taken by Republic of China, and as we move further west, it looks like, yeah, Pakistan is completely eliminated by East Africa. East Africa is not part of that African Coalition, but is very near to members of that coalition, and has not been attacked as of yet. There is a little buildup at the border, and this is concerning for East Africa. There's 3 artillery, Portuguese Mozambique, 3 artillery moving toward Nairobi. So that is extremely concerning for them, but they have significant holdings across the Middle East. So could be that they are going to continue to work with the African Coalition in addition to Sudan. But again, I went over this last time. I'm really concerned for the viability of British East Africa and Sudan, because they are in the lion's den, but they're not in the lion's den. They are in danger, but they're not a part of the coalition. That coalition, partially motivated by Frenchie, has made additional ground against Russian Volga, the Russian Volga Protectorate or something like that, the Russian coalition. So, oh man, look at this. Yeah, French West Africa has moved all the way into the home territories of Russian Finland. Russian Finland is pushed to the brink, but I don't think they will be around for too much longer. They have a couple of a bomber and a fighter here, but when comparing that to the absolute stack of 14 artillery and 61 infantry with a balloon, cavalry, armored cars, that's not going to be as effective as they need it to be. And they have no blockers, nothing to prevent the stack from just coming in and mowing over that. So I feel confident in saying that Russian Finland is likely not going to be in this game much longer. Russian Archangelisk may remain for a little while, but given that they're facing a threat of a coalition plus, they've got Congo here, they've got they've been fighting, I believe, Greece. It is not looking good. And oh, but Sudan, Sudan took out Greece. No, Sudan is working with Greece. Sudan has right-of-way with Greece and appears to be protecting them. So it may be, so Sudan eliminated the Ottomans and appears to be either positioning to have a coup in Athens and take over all of the Grecian territories. Perhaps Greece stepped away and they are moving their troops in to declare war and take everything immediately. Or it is possible that Sudan has an agreement with the African coalition, who also has an agreement with the with Greece. So unsure what's happening here, but I am again really concerned about what's going to happen with Sudan and East Africa, given their location and given the politics that are happening around them. The only major player in the region outside of them is maybe the Russian coalition, but that is being removed quickly. And then there's the Asian coalition. And then over here on the other side, we have the pirates. So pirates, Ken Oath is not a pirate, and he is, I don't have a lot of vision on Ken Oath, but I have concerns with Ken Oath, Ken Oath's ability to stay in this game in the same regard that I have concerns for East Africa and Sudan, because he is surrounded by pirates, and there's not really anyone else for the pirates to fight, because Lalokurd, Peru, is nearly been obliterated. He has his home territories, and it will be moderately difficult for the pirates to get to him without declaring war on a couple of AI, but most of his southern territories are going to be forfeit very soon. As we can see here, Jack has 10 artillery, fighting 3 artillery. There's a fort here, and it's building up to level 3, so there will be, some casualties, but it's going to be incredibly difficult for, and he canceled his construction of his capital because of this attack. So his capital remains up here in Lima, which actually is probably clutch for him. Assuming the pirates take what they want and don't want to push through these AI, Peru might be able to negotiate peace with what he has to survive to the end of the game. But the pirates have cruisers out here, enough to eliminate, or at least threaten his coast. So it's very likely that Peru, while Peru may stay in the game long term, they're not going to be a major player, which means the only major player in North and South America, with the other than the pirates, is Ken Oath. And Ken Oath isn't a huge player, but he has a reasonable amount of territory. He's kept himself a little bit non-threatening. I think what needed to happen in this game, there were a couple of individuals that I've noticed did not make a lot of units. They didn't make a lot of aggression. I'm one of those players, obviously. I'm casting and I'm making myself a defensive barriers as much as I can. I'm going to make it a pain for people to attack me. Eventually, I will probably get taken over, unless individuals are enjoying the casts. But I think what needed to happen in this game, just as a diagnosis of what we've seen, super aggression is terrifying, as we saw with Finland. Whenever super aggression happened, then there was immediate snapbacks by the individuals who had already established themselves. So I think reserving all of your troops for a late game attack probably is a mistake, given this crowd. However, launching full-scale invasions early also wasn't necessarily helpful either, because that made you an early threat, as we saw with Lord Wolf. Lord Wolf was a little bit hampered given his country selection, but he was taken out by, it wasn't reciprocated aggression, but he was a threat in South America and he was dealt with quickly. So it's difficult, but I think the key is having a balance. The biggest player right now is Frenchie, French West Africa. And early on in the game, if you remember, I pointed out that French West Africa was attacking the AI south of him. But he wasn't a major player until it hit probably about artillery time. And at that point, he started, consistent expansion. And it is only really recently that Frenchie has become a significant power player. And so I think consistent advances are less concerning, and so they are diplomatically better. Achieving that is more difficult than it sounds. But that, I think, is the goal, is the balance, something to take away from this game. But I'm excited to see. I'm very nervous for Pirates Have Feelings 2 and Marechal Spinola III. But I'm excited to see how this game pans out as we move into more of an in-game type situation. Again, we have really 3 coalitions that are vying for power. Let's look at this just in the... so we have the Lion's Den in first place, which is most of the points in the Lion's Den are held by Frenchie. Almost half the points are held by Frenchie alone. The Pirates, who have a fairly even distribution of points, Pintel, who was originally one of the McLarens, has the largest amount, but it's not by a significant margin. Asia, coming in third by only about 50 points, and they are down 1 member. So Pirates and Asia are in a similar position, and honestly, one of the things that I think we need to see for the viability of this game going forward, and we need to see it pretty quickly, is the Pirates and Asia establishing themselves and working directly with Sudan and with British East Africa to take down the African coalition. Because if that doesn't happen quickly, they have enough power to do that. It would be a tough battle because they're spread out. But Asia has resources that can take out Grandma Rosette, French Madagascar, that their holdings abroad. And putting them in a multi-front war, putting Africa in a multi-front war is the course for viably not having viability at first place in this game. If they don't ally quickly, then they're no longer playing for first. They're playing for second. They are conceding the first place to Africa, and they're going to have to fight each other for survival, for second place, for 500 points, because Africa will take first if they don't unite now. That is all that I have for now. If you have any comments, any suggestions on future content, let me know. I do take those into consideration, and I've already done several videos that were requests, including the video on how to use mobile and a few recommendations and things that I noticed with the new mechanics. So let me know if you have any suggestions. Soli Deo Gloria, and I will see you next time.